I want to ask you to do something, which is to contemplate the thoughts that come in your mind when I say the word Africa. My suspicion is that you're thinking poverty, disease, HIV/AIDS, death, conflict, genocide, and maybe even the last king of Scotland. I submit to you that that's one perspective. And it's a perspective that has been influenced by the narrative that's in the media all around us. If you ask me, what do I think of Africa? I think, well, 2 months ago, I saw a consortium of European energy companies ready to invest $500 billion to capture, trap, and sell the solar energy in the Sahara Desert. Opportunity. I look at a continent of 900 million customers, entrepreneurs. Can you guys survive on $1 a day? You know, we pander this thing that, oh, these are people who live on $1 a day. What entrepreneurship does it take for you to live on $1 a day? We have entrepreneurs, but we don't celebrate that. The perspectives that we hold on Africa influence the decisions that we make and how we relate to people, to churches in Africa. We came to this issue of trade and not aid because for a long time, Africa has had a lot of well-meaning but misguided advocates for aid. A lot of people with the hearts in their right places, but who advocate aid because they somehow believe that through handouts to these really sad situations, they're going to bring about change. But how can that be? Look at the United States. 200 years of trade-generated growth and prosperity. Look at the United Kingdom. Look at China. Look at India. Look at Southeast Asia. There is no country in the world that has developed through handouts. So why is Africa different? Why should people somehow think that handouts is what's going to develop Africa? We use trade as an engine for growth because it's part of economic doctrine. For the last 300 years, economists have proven that trade is the only sustainable way to take societies out of poverty and create transformational empowerment of their communities. Period. So the next time someone comes and says, look, I need to give a handout for Africa, say, excuse me, no. We need to find ways we can relate with people on the continent to get them to help themselves, trade themselves and their communities out of poverty. That's why Africa today produces and contributes just 2% of global trade merchandise. Just 2%. And if that's not enough, having buying directors who don't believe that you're capable of bringing a product to market, you've got the whole media thing. So I'll do these interviews on BBC, CNN, and they'll say, oh, wonderful stuff that you're doing in Uganda. Well done. Now tell us, how is the situation in Zimbabwe going to affect you? What am I supposed to do with Zimbabwe? I'm Ugandan. Oh, but aren't you from Africa? Yeah, but I'm Ugandan. I'm not Zimbabwean. Amen. You know, these perceptions are so hardwired in our minds that every time we look at Africa, we don't see the opportunities. We just see the problem. You guys need to change how you view this continent. When you look at it, you look at consumers, you look at partners, you look at people you can have relationships with. As an African entrepreneur, what am I looking for? I'm not looking to be pitied. I'm looking for the same equal opportunities that an American, a Chinese, an Indian, an English entrepreneur is looking for. Markets and the opportunity to exploit them to create value. I'm not coming here looking for someone to give me a handout. I'm looking for someone to give me market share on the shelves. I'm looking for Walmart to call me and say, we've got shelf space for you. And we'll do the rest of the work. I'm not looking for someone to feel pity and say, oh, we're so sorry for you, poor African. What brings you here? A little bit of help? How may we oblige? and be of help to you. No, we want to do business. There is a continent full of entrepreneurs, teeming and waiting to come and do business with the rest of the world. We need to change the conversation. We need to change the narrative. Now, very quickly, this aid issue, how has it been sustained as an argument in the face of all the evidence that it hasn't been effective? Between 1970 and 2000, Africa has received $400 billion, United States dollars, worth of aid. This graph just shows you the correlations between GDP growth and aid as a percentage of gross national income. And you can see the point at which aid as a ratio of gross national income being the highest, 1995, was the same year and the same period that GDP per capita was at its lowest. I mean, look at it. If aid was at its highest level in 1995 and the growth of the economy was at its lowest, that just shows us that it's not effective. Your taxpayers. Number two, aid actually undermines accountability. It doesn't make it better. You have a situation like aid, you create a chronic dependency. Most African economies are so dependent on aid handouts that their national budgets seek donors for about 40 to 45% of the expenditure. That doesn't just create a chronic dependency, it undermines the integrity and the dignity of the recipient countries. We need a new thinking. We need to change the conversation. We need to get people thinking, what is the impact of our compassion? How do we affect change by being compassionate at the same time retaining the dignity to those we're showing our compassion? You need to paint a different picture. You need to have a portrait of Africa as a continent of consumers, a continent of innovators, a continent of great products, a place that has been blessed with soils that you can grow anything, a continent where real partnerships will bring sustainable community transformation, a continent where people will be treated equally, and through that equal treatment, they will be inspired to do something for themselves. The conversation has to change. And I want to salute Bill Hybels and his team for inviting an African to talk about these issues. Because how many Africans do you guys see on CNN and all these other cable television networks talking about these issues? You see well-meaning guys who don't look like me. Doesn't mean their heart is not in the right place, but it just shows you if in the dialogue, in the discussion, in the debate, the Africans are not represented. If we do business with you, we will take care of our people. And the best way to help us take care of ourselves is through trade and not aid. My prayer today is that you will reconstruct the narrative that's been in your minds. The narrative that says kindness must be demonstrated through handouts. No. The best kindness you can demonstrate is by helping people help themselves. That's how you as a world developed. That's how the most prosperous and advanced economies developed. That's all Africa needs. The opportunity to prove that we can bring quality products to market and help ourselves through trade and not aid. God bless you.